I'd like to now welcome up Pastor Chris Watson and Krista Fairfield. Pastor Chris?
Good afternoon. So great to be with you here this afternoon. So I run I'm the pastor of the Community Outreach Center in Antioch. And so one of the things that's important to us is discipleship, how to grow people to experience the love of Christ and to give that out as they experience it. And so in doing that, we find that one of the best ways to do that is to engage people in serving. And so we try to, because everybody has gifts, everybody has talents, everybody has interests, and we try to find a way to connect them to do that. And so at the Community Outreach Center, what we do is we serve a meal to whoever is hungry every day, from Monday through Friday. We serve a dinner. We also have showers that we have people come take showers. We have a resource area where people can come in and find resources that would help them with whatever issue they're dealing with. If they need prayer, if they need just connections, if they need help getting a job, if they need help finding a place to live, those type of things. And so in doing all these things, we're run by volunteers, people who come and give their time and their expertise in helping. And so one of the things that we have found that really is a need of people that are vulnerable, people that are struggling, people that need help is just somebody to listen to them. So many times they're felt like they're pushed away, they felt like they're an inconvenience, that they're not really a part of society. And so just having somebody that would sit there and talk with them and lend an ear is so important. And so we have what we call dinner friends. And these are volunteers that come and have dinner with us, and they just sit at the tables. We have round tables that we serve dinner at that's open to dialogue, and they just come and they sit to talk with people, have dinner together, and just be able to share life together. And so that's what we're encouraging people to do, is to find ways to connect with people in the community. As was said earlier, people that are different than them, people that don't necessarily come from the same background or the same way of looking at things, and learn from their perspectives, because people that are going through struggles, they have a great deal to teach us, that because things are going okay now, but in the future things may be harder. So I'd encourage you, as you look for opportunities and ways to mobilize people in your congregations to get out, to use what God's given them. We use our gifts and talents in the workforce, in our families, in our communities, but look for how God can use that to lift up the glory that He deserves. So I appreciate the time to share what we do at the Community Outreach Centers.
Okay, I want to first say that I don't have a lot of answers, but I have a lot of questions. And I've been very blessed over the last 20 years to have the opportunity. I was at the first Multi-Faith Action Luncheon. I have been on the board at Hope Solutions, and I am a leader, staff person at our Catholic parish. And those three opportunities have given me a sense of understanding that volunteerism is like a bridge. We go to church, whatever our faith community invites us to do, to learn and know God, for God to know us, and for us to know each other. But when we leave our services, we are asked to go out, not to take God out for ourselves, but to go out and be God. Mm-hmm. And that's what volunteering does. And what we're talking about here are communities that could give land, communities that can raise money, and our communities can do those things together. But one of the things that's really great about the way we can volunteer with those communities who have land, who can give money, is that we can work together. Again, let's remember, Multi-Faith Action came from communities coming together. Hope Solutions came to be because communities came together. I was recently at lunch with a friend of mine who really lives this beautifully. And she told me this story, and in her words, was a God moment. She comes to church faithfully, she prays faithfully every day, and she volunteers in a couple of different organizations. One of them is Winter Nights, which again is one of those communities that come together. And one is White Pony. She had been at Winter Nights and sitting with a family who had walked, two parents with 6 children from Honduras to this country. And she sat with them. She really doesn't know Spanish, but she sat with them, got to know the mother a little bit, and found that the mother was cold. They had been given clothes and, supplies, but was still cold. The next day, she went to serve at White Pony and was telling someone, do you think we could get some extra clothes for this woman? And they said, oh, we worked with that family. And so she could close that gap and see that more need was necessary. So I think it's really important that though we may not be able to give land, but I can work with the parish across the street or the temple in the city next to me, or invite my parishioners to do the same, so that we're building a sense of God, that we recognize that we're that bridge between the kingdom and the church grounds, that we are bringing people to our parishes and our churches and our temples and our sites where they can live safely and with everything they need, but we're also going out and supporting and helping each other do that. Thank you.
We're going to see if we can get hold of Reverend Sophia. Reverend Sophia, can you unmute yourself?
Yes. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be with all of you, and we've partnered with many of you. My name is Reverend Sophia DeWitt. I serve as Senior Director of Programs at East Bay Housing Organizations. If you don't know about us, we are an advocacy organization and a membership organization that works in Alameda and Contra Costa County to advocate for increased affordable housing. So I just want to speak briefly about advocacy from a faith perspective for affordable housing. And the main thing I want to say is I want to encourage all of us as clergy and lay leaders in our faith communities to really lean into our moral authority when we're in the public square, which is an important place for us to be as clergy and lay leaders. Jasmine spoke earlier about many of the things that are needed to create affordable housing. Money, land, entitlements from cities and counties, etc. Another thing that is needed is political and public will. And the way that we build political and public will is through advocacy. And I can tell you that as clergy and faith leaders and lay leaders, your ability to speak about the need for housing in the community for all of our neighbors is incredibly important. To go to city council meetings, to go to board of supervisors meetings, and talk about the need for housing in our community for everyone. When I go to council meetings or board of supervisors meetings, the council members and the board of supervisors members, they expect me to be there. They're like, oh yeah, here's the EBHO representative. And of course the EBHO representative is going to be advocating for affordable housing. They expect me to do that. But if you show up, they don't necessarily expect you to show up. So your voice and your words can have a powerful effect. And it doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be long. It can be something as simple as a person of faith, I believe that my faith teaches me that all people deserve to live in safe, stable, affordable, and accessible housing. And I want you to do that. And those words can be very powerful because folks will not expect to see you. But they're also powerful because our city council members and our board of supervisor members are also people of faith. So if you can speak to them from the perspective of faith, that can move hearts and that can move minds, that will move dollars and that will move public policy. and help us to house more people. If any of you in your congregations or communities would like more training about advocacy on particular things, whether it's countering NIMBYism and going to a council meeting and saying, I support housing project XYZ that I know others in the community might be telling you they don't want, but I think it's important, or whether it's going to a meeting to talk about the housing element, which is the city's housing plans that are being developed and adopted now. We would be happy to speak with any of you in your communities with additional advocacy tips and tools. Just reach out to us. So thank you for having me today, and look forward to possibly answering questions later. Thanks.
Thank you, Reverend Sophia. Okay. I don't know how many times that the biggest aha moment in Sacramento or Washington, D.C., or here locally with our elected leaders comes when a person of faith says something that they learned in Saturday school or in Friday mosque school or something in Sunday school that influences the elected person to see that this is a real issue of faith for the faith community. And that's when the notes start coming out for the staff person or the elected person. Don't denigrate your ability as people of faith to be able to make the difference for a lot of these elected leaders, because it's often the person who's speaking from the heart, something that means the most to them from their own faith tradition, that makes the jump and helps them understand why the elected leader has to get on board with the given project that you're asking them to do. They often ask, and sometimes if they're not getting enough feedback from the faith community on certain issues, sometimes they'll call me, sometimes they'll call other faith leaders in the area to see what the faith community is thinking about different things. So please be ready to share what your faith community and your faith tradition is encouraging you to be able to make that difference. Because if you hold back, it could mean the difference between seeing a project come to fruition or not. Meredith?
Hi, hello everyone. I'm Meredith Rupp. I'm a Coro Policy Fellow working to implement some of the things you've been hearing today in the city of Antioch. And I want to tell you about a specific thing that your congregations might provide advocacy around, and that is Senate Bill 4, the Affordable Housing on Faith Lands Act. I believe there's some slides to show, but I'll just begin my spiel. We need SB 4 because currently affordable housing is far too difficult to do. Each parcel of land has a zoning district, which you've heard about, and that might not even allow residential development on that plot of land, or it might only allow one house instead of the 20 that you are envisioning. If you do have the right zoning, you have the application process where you put together all the required materials and give it to the city or the county to get their approval. And this sometimes can result in different interpretations of the rules and lengthy back and forths. In addition to the application, there's the environmental compliance piece. California has very robust environmental protections for good reason, but they can be abused and sometimes overly complicated. There's also public hearings depending on the size of your project and the jurisdiction that you're working in. And finally, all these things together, hopefully you get your project approved, but it could take a lot of time and subjective judgment of just a couple of decision makers. And there are already laws that address some of these 5 things, but what is so cool about SB 4 is that it addresses all of this holistically. It would allow housing by right or automatically, affordable housing, that is, on faith-owned land. It would create timelines and create clarity around what you need in your application and how it can be processed. It would really simplify the environmental process by allowing this affordable housing if there are certain common sense environmental compliance standards that are met, like not being next to a polluting industrial site or not being on agricultural land. It would really limit the scope and most likely the number of public hearings so that you're no longer getting the amplified voice of NIMBYs. And all this would mean a really streamlined application or streamlined approval process. SB 4 is currently going through the legislative process in the state Senate. And so it's a great time for all of us to mobilize and really show our support behind this bill so that it will pass. And I know Jasmine and probably Reverend DeWitt can get you hooked up on how to get plugged into that. So thank you.
Thank you. Our Social Justice Alliance just decided to sign on yesterday. Your congregations can sign on as well, and we encourage you to do so.
Go ahead, Brian.
Good morning. I'm Brian McCoy, and I'm from St. Ignatius of Antioch in Antioch. And our pastor, I'm subbing for our pastor, Father Robert. And the one thing that Jasmine told me to do today was to channel Father Robert's enthusiasm. And if any of you know Father Robert, you know what a task that is. So, but
You gotta go big.
you gotta go big. He's the kind of guy that will go all in on a project, like constructing micro homes on parish property. His attitude is, let's sign the contract, and after Mass this Sunday, let's break ground. God will provide. Rightly or wrongly, I temper his enthusiasm with, yes, God will provide, but we have to do the due diligence. Right. That said, I will tell you that his enthusiasm on building on our property, his enthusiasm is what keeps the ball rolling forward. Back in April of 2021, we were meeting with Jasmine and Will McGarvey about using a parcel of land in Antioch for a tiny home community. We already had some conversations with the City of Antioch and the County Board of Supervisors and Los Medanos College. But in early June, we learned about breakthrough grants available to cities, and that shifted our focus. You can see on the screen, on the upper right there, the San Francisco Foundation. For those of you who don't know what they are a grant-making public charity. And one of their initiatives is the Partnership for the Bay's Future. This partnership focuses on producing and preserving affordable housing in the Bay Area, and they have a two-pronged approach. One is a family of loans that focuses on housing supply. And these funds are managed by the List Corporation. And the other project they have is the policy fund. And that's where our connection with the partnership began. In August of 2021, the City of Antioch, the Multi-Faith Action Coalition, and Hope Solutions collaborated on a grant application. We would work together to develop and implement policies that would address the need for affordable housing in Antioch. As part of that effort, we would also advocate for policies that provided a reasonable path for micro home communities on faith-owned land. In January 2022, we got wonderful news that a $500,000 grant was awarded to Antioch. In fact, we were only one of 11 recipients that year. So where are we today? Well, we're not doing this alone. We've created a partnership in Antioch that now numbers more than 20 faith communities and community organizations. Weather, right? Let's see. So we've created a partnership that now numbers more than 20 faith groups and community-based organizations, in addition to the City of Antioch. Just last week, the team made a presentation to the Antioch City Council that was well received by both the council and by members of the community that were present that night. In fact, many of the public comments made before our presentation actually focused on housing issues. For their part, the council did commit to working with us specifically in the area of zoning rules. So on behalf of Father Robert, I can tell you that St. Ignatius remains enthusiastic about this effort. We're committed to promoting policies that increase options for affordable housing, and we will continue to work towards construction of microhome community on our property. Microhomes on faith communities will not solve the affordable housing problem, but they can play an integral part. Thank you.
Go big or go home. All right. We're almost coming to the end here. I just wanted to share some interesting statistics. So as a part of our breakthrough grant, particularly the team, the resident empowerment leadership team, Jocelyn, Meredith, and I, we did a bunch of community organizing out in Antioch that included 7 listening sessions, Golden Hills, St. Ignatius, and so forth. We had 300 encounters. And what was very interesting is we worked to couple stories with data that was gathered through surveys. And here's what we learned. We learned that there was an overwhelming and consistent interest and support for microhomes. 90% of respondents on our survey said they would live in a microhome. And interestingly, price, location, and I want to have a pet were the top 3 factors that would motivate people to choose a small home. We also learned among the unhoused and the housed that there was an enormous opportunity for places of worship. As William said, sadly, but thankfully, places of worship remain one of the few places that people still trust. And so places of faith can provide love and support. And we heard that time and time again from the people that we spoke to out in Antioch. So now I want to invite up my colleague, my rabbi, actually, Rabbi Gretz. I want to invite up Reverend Lauren. And I really just kind of want to wrap this up, but I want to quote Father Robert on something that he shared with us when we were out in St. Ignatius, and that was the idea of building a community within a community. And I think it'd be great for you to take a moment and just imagine your place of worship, wrapping your arms around vulnerable people, giving them a sense of they actually belong, right? At the end of the day, I feel like that's what we all just want. We want to feel like we have a place where we belong. We want to feel like we have a place that we can call our home. And I also think that's what people of faith are being called to do. We've heard that time and time again throughout the morning. To me, this is the modern day version of the call for caring for the widow or the orphan. From my temple Isaiah 1:17, right? We are called to learn to do good, to devote yourself to justice, to aid the wronged, to uphold the rights of the orphan, and to defend the cause of the widow. And I really believe that this is something that we can do together. So I want to invite my 2 friends, my colleagues, to come up and join me to maybe lead us through a conversation about what's next.
I have nothing prepared except that before what's next, Jasmine gave shout outs at the beginning of the meeting, and we need to give a big shout out for Jasmine for having brought us together and helping us to bring this project to fruition. So LLPC and Temple Isaiah were 2 of the founding members of Contra Costa Interfaith Housing that later became Hope Solutions. In the process of, in this journey, we decided that advocacy was important and it needed its own independent branch and multi-faith Action Committee came together with Will, with Jasmine, and with so many others. And now we are again in this confluence in which we have to figure it all out so that we can move forward. Each of us has projects, and now we want to be able to do project together, which is bringing more housing to the unhoused in our community.
Two things that I really want to communicate in the time we have left. Of course, thank you to Jasmine, as Rabbi Gretz said. I'm remembering a meeting that the Multi-Faith Action Coalition put together, gosh, before the pandemic. Could have been 5 years ago, could have been 3 years ago. I don't remember with the
At Christ the King.
At Christ the King, yes. And I remember we sat in like a rectangle, kind of all staring at one another, letting each other know about the different ways that our faith communities were trying to make a difference in our local community around key issues like housing. And I remember voicing to Jasmine that I really thought that there was a lot of potential if we could unlock the barriers of what we imagine that we can only do by ourselves and merge with other faith communities and really accomplish something incredible in our local county, in Contra Costa County. And to me, that's the vision that I see that Jasmine and others have really shepherded us through. We could, with like all the people present here, we could make a huge impact in Contra Costa County. We could be the county that other counties look to for this kind of multi-faith engagement and coalition for how we're trying to address housing issues. The good news is that all of our congregations each hold a special puzzle piece to this solution. I know our faith community can provide funding. We've just signed on SB4. There are certain things that we can provide, and there are certain things that we can't provide. But together we can all make, as the metaphor shows, like one complete puzzle to help solve our portion of this and as much as we can do together. So I know, especially thinking as a mission pastor and the great burden I feel for meeting the needs in our community, that we can only do so much as individuals, as individual faith communities, but there is truly so much that we can do together. So I want to thank the inspiration of all of you guys, of all the different things that your communities of faith have really done in order to help move the needle on this project. I want to thank the incredible vision of Hope Solutions and for Dan Perrin and the different ways that that faith organization, that a nonprofit has really transformed in the last 5-6 years in order to reach and try to meet some of these goals. And just thank you all for inspiring me and for inspiring each other of what we can really do together. I always leave these meetings feeling really amped up and wanting to do more, and I hope that we can in fact do more together. So thank you guys.
So, on your tables, you will find this form, which has a lot of writing that you can do on it. And I hope you all will take the time to do so and to fill it out and leave it with us so that we can sort it out and call you back and see how we are going to continue this work together. In the meantime, I think we do have a few
Q&A,
minutes for
yeah.
Q&A, right?
Yeah.
So
Thank you.
take charge of it.
So we're going to do kind of two things at the same time. I'm going to really encourage you to please fill out the form. It's so important to us that we know, first of all, we know that for lots of clergy who are here, it's hard for you to do this by yourselves. You all need lay leader partners. And for lay leaders, I bet you're feeling pretty inspired to engage your clergy. So please take a moment to kind of connect those dots for us, because we know that that partnership within your faith institution is really important. We need to know who else to include. You may also have other colleagues. You know, the church or the synagogue or the mosque next door. You may want to let them know about this opportunity. So please take a moment to let us know. We're really interested in following up with you, and we want to follow up with you in the way that you want to be followed up with. Now, there were loads of speakers today, and I couldn't bring everybody up at the same time. That would be, well, we should get that picture actually. But what I'd like to do is It's 22 up. We've got plenty of time. So what I'd like to do is open the floor for reflections, for questions. We tried to answer a number of the questions that came through when you registered, but let's just have a conversation. And if we don't have specific questions, I'd love to hear, what'd you think?
So the folks at home can hear. If you have a question, please come up here. This is the talking stick for them and for you. So please come on up and share a question.
There's a chat. Can you look at it? Okay, we had a question about emailing the form that we're passing out, and the answer is yes. It's already in your mailbox because of the wonderful Carrie. Woo! Oh my goodness, there's no reflections and no questions? All right, thank you. Just come up to the front if you don't mind. You can kind of form a little line. We really do want to hear from you. Hi, welcome.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Tommy Brandon with Walnut Creek Presbyterian Church, and we are a church that's sort of in the midst of reimagining how we can be using our footprint, which is right by the Walnut Creek BART station and currently has a lot of parking lots. And so one of the things I'm wondering is, as we think about our campus and where we're located, we probably have the opportunity to do something at a larger scale than micro homes. And so just wondering, it's kind of my introduction to Hope Solutions today, if y'all are connected to different types of housing solutions.
So the question was, it sounds like they have a very large parcel of land, an opportunity to do something bigger, and the answer is absolutely. At Hope Solutions, we pride ourselves in the best use of land. And so if there's an opportunity to go big, we're gonna help you go big. Our sweet spot is not in the 50 to 100. We hand that over to partners, trusted partners like Eden Housing, Mercy Housing, others who are doing this work. Our biggest vote is that you build affordable housing, and our biggest vote is that you ensure that there are professional supportive services so that there is a long-term success strategy for that implementation. Deanne can tell you 100 stories of phone calls of implementations where there wasn't a long-term strategy, and then she and Hope Solutions and her team are brought in to have to sort of fix those problems. So you can trust us that we will guide you on that journey and sort of step out of the way if the opportunity is bigger.
I'm Cindy Durant. I live in this church. And so as you can probably see, we don't have a lot of land. So I was looking at the various jigsaw pieces, and I was thinking about philanthropy. And we've spent a lot of time in our congregation's pockets for a while just to keep the lights on. So I think it would be brilliant to have a fundraiser, just even with the faith communities in Pleasant Hill, geared toward this project. We do have people that are willing to cook and willing to serve and willing to, come up with ideas to do something fun. Too bad we missed the Mardi Gras part. That would have been fun. But I just want to put that idea in the heads of our partners, even on Gregory Lane, that we could get a group together to come up with a really great fundraiser for a really good cause. So that's my reflection.
So I just love this because to me, it really pings off of what Krista was talking about, right? It's this building this bridge, it's this reaching out, it's this let's do it together, right? And what's really exciting is we have a project that we're very, very intensely exploring in Pleasant Hill. So wouldn't it be very exciting if many communities of faith here in Pleasant Hill, through the Pleasant Hill Clergy Caucus would be able to inspire philanthropic support for this, this would be just wonderful. So thank you for your beautiful idea and for your suggestion. Jocelyn Vera had a fantastic suggestion. If you don't want to come up to the mic and you want to write down your questions or your reflections, you're welcome to do that. And I know Jocelyn and others would be more than happy to pick those up, and we can ask the question for you. Sounds like you have something you want to share.
Yes, I have something to say. Since this is going the way it is, I didn't know if I would make it, but is Decky Thornton here? Oh, I looked at you, I guess, and I didn't even see you. That's the way my morning went. So you've already probably expounded upon what we're doing at St. Andrews, right? Oh, well, Decky, come up here. You know, she's been like a spearhead at our church, orchestrating these marvelous concerts we come to with musicians donating their time. And I was trying to think of the number of, I can't remember, of the funds raised, thousands and thousands of dollars for this cause. And anyway, take it away.
It's just, Linda, you can't take Linda anywhere. Anyway, this is sort of an example of what we're talking about, because if there's somebody like me, when I retired, I was on the board at Hope, and I'm a musician, and I thought, what a wonderful way, and I'm very involved in St. Andrews, to just pull it all together and start a fundraiser. This was 18 years ago. We are still going. We have at least 4 concerts a year. Our last concert raised over $1,000. And it's all donations from people who come and they learn a little bit about Hope Solutions. They pick up all of the information. It's just another way of spreading the word around. Another little example. And it's funny how it builds up over the years, the reputation that the recitals have and Hope Solutions has, but all over the place, all over the Bay Area. So it's just a tiny example, but it can raise tens of thousands of dollars over a few years.
Yeah. Okay.
I just had to come up to the mic. My name is Lauren Rotaliata. Closer? Okay. When Hillcrest said they weren't doing a lot, I don't think they realize how much they have done. They were the home to NAMI's family to family for years, for those families who had those with a serious mental illness. And through that family to family, Linda Dunn with her husband, Doug Dunn, was one of my teachers at this event. And through them, the advocacy for housing for those with a serious mental illness has been magnified thousands of times within our state. If you've ever heard of Project Home Key, Project Room Key, if you've ever heard of No Place Like Home, if you've never seen Mental Health Services Act money, such as that at Garden Apartments with Home Solutions, that is what the seeds are sown at places like Hillcrest. So thank you very, very much.
Let's ask the folks at home. Let me take this down. Anyone that's on our Zoom, do any of you have anything you'd like to share? Reverend Leslie?
Yeah, I just wanted to let folks know that Christian Church Homes, similar to Eden Housing, Christian Church Homes provide affordable senior housing. We will build on, I'm the president of the board. We will build on existing church properties. So if you have land, if you've got, they're not tiny homes, they're apartments for seniors and vulnerable adults. So yeah, get in touch with me and I can put you in touch with the right people from Christian Church Homes, if that's something you're interested in. And it's interfaith, it's not, the name is Christian Church Homes. So thank you.
Thank you. Any other final comments? Okay, I'm going to ask for just a quick 10 popcorns. One word to describe how you're feeling right now. Hopeful. Motivated. Energized. Inspired. Grateful. I'm excited. I'm totally fired up. I'm ready to go. So thank you to everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you to our spectacular speakers today. And we look forward to partnering with you again very, very soon. That's it.
All right, I'll give us a closing prayer and then you'll be free to go.
Oh, good call.
Reach your hands out like you're holding hands with someone nearby without touching. Gracious God of all peoples and nations, we thank you for the calling that you've given us on our lives to be servants of others. Continue to help us live out that calling that you have placed in that specific way that you have through our faith traditions, so that we might truly be children of your kingdom here as we create that together. In your many names we pray. Amen.
Amen.